Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to another video. In fact, welcome to a new year. This is 2023, so a new year of exploring and a new season of videos for me. This is going on, I guess you could say, season 3. I'm coming up on 3 years that I've been doing these videos now for YouTube and everything. So I am up here today in Reading, Pennsylvania, just outside of Reading, and I am at the Neversink Mountain Preserve, and I am at the location over here. This is either Exeter Township or Lower Alsace Township, I'm not quite sure, because the borderline of the townships are all close by up here, but this is in back of Forest Hills Cemetery, and I'm going to be checking out an area that I wanted to do now for a number of years, but just couldn't get around to it until now. But I did explore part of the Neversink Mountain Preserve when I first started doing the videos on YouTube, and that video will be popping up there in the corner of the screen. It was the witch's hat that I went up to, that I walked around up here and tried to look for remains of a railroad that went around this mountain up here, because there were 4 hotels up here at one time on the mountain back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, where people went to on the weekends for recreation. One of the hotels, I think, was actually a solarium. So there was Highland House, Neversink Mountain Hotel, Centennial Springs Hotel, and I think there was one called Glen Hotel or something like that. So I tried looking for the remains of one when I was up here the first time, and didn't know what I was looking for. And as it turns out, yesterday I found it and was actually standing on top of it when I filmed up here before and didn't even realize of it. I was looking at a map and figured out where I was at and everything. So yeah, it's pretty bad when you're sitting out at a eating establishment with a friend and you just have one of those moments when you bring up the map and start looking at old maps that I came across and started doing the research with that map and the current satellite photos. And yeah, I was actually standing where the one hotel was and didn't even realize it. So we're going to hopefully get up there and revisit that area up there where the witch's hat is and see if we can find the remains of the hotel, because actually where the hotel was, there is now a radio station transmitter on the site of where it was. So this is going to be a full day of hiking around this mountain up here. It's there's many loops up here of the old railroad, which is the hiking and biking trails up here and everything. So we're going to see what remains we can find, and hopefully have a good time finding it and see if we can find any other remains up here too. So again, I don't know everything about this place. Information that I find, I will put at the bottom of the screen, or links to the websites where I am getting the information from. And if anybody has more information on this, or if the information I'm giving is incorrect, you know, you can leave your comments down there in the comments section. But I am not alone. I brought somebody with me.
He's behaving himself again.
He's back there getting his act together again as usual. So RJ is with me. It's always better when I do a long hike like this if I got somebody else with me, not just for the company or in case anything happens, but also 4 eyes are better than 2, or in our case 8 eyes. So let's get started here and start exploring the Neversink Mountain Preserve.
Woohoo!
All right, so this is the little parking area here off of Clapperthal Road, which is that road right there, and this is the cemetery right here. And this area here, as far as the railroad goes, which the Norfolk Southern line is down there, which was the Philadelphia and Reading, and the Reading Railroad and everything was actually called Clapperthal Junction at one time. So we are eventually going to be heading up that way, but first we are going to be going down this way. Comic Relief doing what he does best there, but we're going to go down here because I want to check out a tunnel that is down here, and that goes under the Norfolk Southern line there, and we want to explore that. There was also a dam along the Schuylkill River down here somewhere that provided power for the electric and gravity railroad that went up the mountain. But I don't know if we're going to be able to see that from down there, or if we're going to have to wait till we get up on top of the mountain to one of the lookouts. Alright, so we're coming down from the parking area, came down the trail, and if you look right down there, you can see the Norfolk Southern line and the tunnel that's there. But we just found what I'm pretty sure, if you can see it there, and we'll get a better shot of it when we go back up through, because there's a path that goes there, but there is one of the railroad beds right there. And I'll get you a better shot of that later on in the video. Like I said, 8 eyes are better than 2. RJ just spotted this. Right there's a railroad tie. It's sitting there with some green stuff growing on it, but first actual remains of the railroad that we found. So we are down here at the tunnel, which is actually a culvert for the stream that's here. I think the stream actually goes over there, but there is overflow that goes through there, and RJ is saying this is a typical Reading Railroad culvert because of the diamond that's at the top there, and I believe the year is 1926.
Yep, 26.
So depending on the time of the year that you come through here, this tunnel may be flooded, but today we're getting lucky here, and there's not much water flowing through it. So we're walking through the tunnel, and you can't help with all the graffiti that's in here and everything, but Schuylkill River is right ahead of us there, and maybe we'll get lucky and be able to see where the dam was located, or they had the power station to generate the electricity for the railroad. So here is the other end of the tunnel, which we think might have been some kind of pedestrian tunnel maybe, or something at one time. We're not quite sure, because the culvert with the water actually goes down and comes out here, and the Schuylkill River is there. And then this is the actual end right here of the Neversink Mountain Loop, and the Exeter Recreation Trail, or whatever it's called, continues on that way, which we are going to be walking down there and exploring, because I found where the old power plant was located on maps here as I was standing here waiting for RJ. So the power plant and the dam is just going to be down here a short distance. Alright, so our first big discovery is the remains of the power plant, and I came down here along the river. You can just see the remains that's here, and we might actually catch a train coming through here yet too. I just heard a horn. But this is the remains of the power plant that generated the electricity for the railroad for the mountain. And then this whole area right here is where what was called the Reading Big Dam, or something like that. So there was a dam that went across the river here that coincide with the power plant. But looking straight across, there is something I did not expect to find over there, and I'll try and zoom in on it with the camera. But over in the distance over there in the trees is, you see it right about there, is Lock 50 for the Schuylkill Canal, the remains of it, which I was not expecting to find. So the Schuylkill Canal ran on that side of the river over there. So there you can see the brick there of for one of the buildings for the powerhouse. We got more remains up there and more foundations over here, and then we'll get back up top to the walking trail up there, and you'll be able to see more remains of where the powerhouse was. Here's more of that foundation, and they actually got rail sticking out of it here. And this is actually light rail from the looks of it. And then back up on top of the trail, there's the brick building there, this foundation, and down where RJ's walking there's more remains and foundations down there of where buildings were, right along here as well. And it looks like there's more rails sticking out here too through the walls. And over here as well, there's... What are you thinking?
This looks to me almost like trolley street rail
That's what I'm saying.
because of the design of it.
Well, yeah, because it was basically the railroad was the trolley line that went up.
But this would have gone down streets.
Oh, okay.
So like if you think about Philadelphia, like Germantown and all that,
Right.
with the streetcars down there, it's very similar to this. That's what you see in the street, so it's more smoother for cars.
Okay.
Because at first I thought maybe they just welded something onto it, but that's not welded on. That's made like that.
But what it was used for here with the purpose of the foundation, I guess reinforcement maybe or something.
Rebar.
Rebar.
Recycled rebar. That's early day recycling. And you can see
And then over here is
the box in there too.
more remains right here.
This is odd though, because it's only this one spot that's the flagstone.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this would have been here, because this is the only spot that has the sandstone here, and ends right out there. Then another spot find that RJ found right about there. There is an old insulator tree or telegraph pole with some insulators on the top of it. All right, so there is the daredevil himself going up there to investigate that telegraph pole that's up there, because I guess he found an insulator laying up there, and he also found there's actually wire on it yet too, telegraph wire. All right, so he did, it is broken, but he did manage to get it from up top there and bring it down here. But there's like no markings on it or anything. But it's an old green insulator, and he did confirm that there is wire up there yet too. All right, so we came out of the tunnel down there, which is straight ahead, and we are now on, and you can see it now, it's well defined here that this is a railroad bed through here. So hopefully this path that we're on will continue down and bear to the right and go out, and hopefully we'll be able to find some remains of Clapperthal Station. All right, so we're here on one of the rail beds here, but we also saw this down here, and again there's very limited photographs of this when the lines were in here, if any photographs. But looking down here, it looks like there could have been another railroad bed right here, and where RJ's standing down there, there's a bunch of railroad ties laying down there, and then this meets up with what was the Reading line out there, now the NS line. But somewhere in this area here is where Clapperthal Station was located, and I don't think we're quite at it yet, but you can still see here the signature of a rail bed, the way the land is laid out. So I climbed down here to where RJ is just to investigate this a little bit further, but I'm standing on one long tie here or something, but There's a rail tie, there's a rail tie, there's more over there. Alright, so after hiking around and looking at maps and satellite images and everything else that I got on me here trying to document this, I now figured out where the train station, or where Clapperthal Station was, which we're going to get back to, but we came up this path here, and this right here is the remains of the Clapperthal Pavilion. So this is where this pavilion was, I guess where they had picnics or whatever, which was up a little ways behind the train station, but this was definitely it here because of the old, all the concrete that's here that's broken up, and just the lay of the land here, the way it is and everything. So we found where Clapperthal Pavilion was, and then from here we're going to be venturing back down and showing you where the Clapperthal Station was. So you look right there, I actually climbed in here where RJ's at. So right there, there's remains of a chimney, brick chimney. You can see this was a floor, and there's more flat pieces of concrete there, which was floor. In fact, RJ, I think, standing on a piece right there. All over here, this was all flooring. So it's pretty cool that we got to find what's left of the pavilion. Alright, so as I'm walking out, I saw this little thing. Piece of conduit there with some wire in it, but we're not quite sure what that would have been.
Oh, that's staying here now.
Why? Oh.
Through my glove.
Ooh. And RJ just cut himself on that insulator.
So it's, anybody wants it, it's over there.
But anyway, the pavilion was right up there where I'm pointing. So I don't know if this would have been something, maybe since they had electric here, they had power going up to the pavilion or something. Because I don't believe the rail line came up here. I believe this wrapped around down there further, and the rail, another part of the rail line's up in there. So we're not quite sure what this would have been there, but it's just sticking out there in the middle of the path for you to trip over when you're walking through here if you're not paying attention.
And before somebody adds it in the comments, yes, I was wearing the glove. It went right through the glove.
Went through the glove.
And there's no cut in the glove.
Gotta love it. So let's see. Hurt yourself twice now.
Oh, wrong finger. There it is. Okay.
Oh, there is the cut. Slice the glove.
Huh.
So after we did a lot of backtracking here and climbing around and everything to do this safely, this is the area right here, and I'll insert a picture that I found online of Clapperthal Station. But this is the location of where the station was, but there are basically no remains of it. It was a very small station, but I can see over there where it would have been flat, where the platform would have been or something like that. And then right down here is this cutout that we were at earlier, actually right there, where I guess the trolley would have came out and ran along the Reading line, which is now the NS line here. But yeah, this right here is where the station was. All right, so back over again to this area on the opposite side of the tracks, but this is the evidence here of a station, because there's that flat area right there, which would have been that flat platform or whatever next to the train station. But that there, it's all concrete. Right there, right behind RJ, there's concrete there. But we are standing in the exact spot of where the train station would have been at one time on it. But on the side here that's turned over, you can see all kinds of fossil remains on there too, which is pretty cool. So we came back down from where the train station was, so just to confirm, that was a bed there which went out to the line but never actually connected to the Reading line. And where we're standing at right here, this was a railroad bed as well. So we are going to venture up, and I think the next point of interest we'll find will be the remains of a trestle. So looking at more maps of the area and where the trolley line or traction line, whatever you want to call it, railroad went. So this path that we're on here that we started out on is actually part of the old trolley line too, or the electric railroad, whatever you want to call it, because if you can see right here the contour of it too, how it's laid flat here. So one thing we saw, and I didn't film it when we started out, but these things right here, these concrete things, we don't know if this would have been something to mark for the trolley line there, because we're on the old bed here, or if this is a marker for the cemetery that's over there. We're not quite sure.
It makes more sense for this though, because they follow right along the edges of it.
Now, yeah, there's numerous ones along here, but I've never seen documentation of them before anywhere, so it's hard to say what they would have been, if they're markers for the trolley line or if they were markers for the cemetery. Alright, so we made a stop here at the car and we solved the mystery with those little concrete pillars or whatever you want to call them there, markers or whatever. So they weren't for the trolley, they're actually for the cemetery, because they follow out along the road there. You can see more of them. So they are there for the cemetery, I guess, to mark the boundary for the cemetery and whatnot. So we're going to be venturing up that path and check out the trestle that's up there, and also a wine cellar. Alright, so we made our way up the trail from the parking area right down there, and there's some real neat rock formations along here, especially that one that's right there. But here is the first of 3 bridge remains that went across here. And again, this whole railway just looped around this mountain, but there's some remains of a bridge there, and over here on this side right there you can see the abutments for the other part, and then over through there is where the railroad bed is, which we'll get to at some point. But we're going to be heading up through there to find more bridge remains in the wine cellar. Alright, so here is a board that they have along the route up here, and you can pause the video. This is the Centennial Springs Hotel, which we're going to be going up to. This is where the wine cellar is located. And I wanted to say there was a, I called it a solarium. It's a sanatorium. So there was a tuberculosis sanatorium along here too somewhere, which I don't know the exact. Oh, the Centennial Springs Hotel was purchased by the Berks County Tuberculosis Aid Society. So the hotel was turned into a sanatorium to treat tuberculosis patients. And then one hotel around here too, which should be somewhere up in here, is Dangler's Glen Hotel, or just known as the Glen Hotel. But you can pause the video and read the information on it there. So this is one of the other points of interest that are on the one of the apps that I'm using here, which is Trail Forks, and this mountain is documented on there, all the trails and everything. This is one of the boardwalks, And the 3 bridges I was referring to are the ones that we came up down there and crossed over. So there's only 1 trestle remains, which you already saw. But I'll show you when we go back down. There's a log bridge there and another footbridge to cross over the little creeks that are coming down the ravine here from the mountain. So that's what it was referring to when we said there's 3 bridges. We're walking up the path from where that sign was, and we came across this here, but we don't think this is the site of the Glen Hotel or Dengler's Glen Hotel, because this looks a little too small to be a hotel, but definitely remains of something here. Yeah, definitely a foundation to something. What exactly, we're not sure of. So we're walking up the trail a little bit further. Right down there is where we found that foundation, but we saw more foundations here. RJ spotted this well that's there. So I looked at my maps, and we are in the area of where the Glen Hotel was. Where exactly to say we're standing in the exact spot, we don't know, because it did burn down according to that board back there. And I knew one of the hotels burnt down up here, and it was the one that was in this area. It burnt down in 1931. But somewhere in this area is where the hotel was located. Alright, so we did more hiking, and I went off the one trail that I thought I needed to take to get to the Centennial Springs Hotel, but we came up the trail and I'm finding this, and right up here I saw it through the weeds. I'm not quite sure if this is it or not, but I think we might have found the wine cellar. Wasn't sure on the exact location of the wine cellar, and over there is a flat area which I want to check out too and see if that could have been part of a hotel over there. But somewhere here, and I gotta look for it again because now I lost it, but there's something in here that we got to check out. RJ's coming up there, but right here is a big depression from something or foundation, but I'm not quite sure if this is the hotel area that we need to be at or not yet, but the point of interest is right there. There is a path going down to it, but even along here you can see there's like a foundation here for stuff, and looking back there, but this is I think this is where I want to be. Or not, but here we are. This is definitely something. All right, we're gonna have to get our lights out to go in here and everything, but I don't know if this is. I don't think this is the big one. So this is another one that I didn't know about, unless I get in here and I see stuff that looks familiar.
Not the big one.
I don't think this is the one we're looking for. So this is another one that's up here. But I got to dig my lights out and walk inside here and look around, because if I see hooks hanging from the ceiling in here, I'll know it's the one. But so far I'm not seeing any hooks hanging. All right, RJ's coming in here, but I had to switch to the phone for this one. This is not the wine cellar I'm looking for, and as far as I know, I have not seen this cellar documented before up here. So this is not the area of the Centennial Springs Hotel, but I'm wondering, and we're going to have to go out and check some of the other area out here. I wonder if this might have been the wine cellar for the Glen Hotel. But
you really hear that thumping now in here.
But this is neat. This is all rock in here laid, and
Even the floor.
you know, the floor is all rock. This is not the big one, because the big one's going to have hooks hanging from the ceiling. But plenty of moisture in here too, dripping off the top. But I'm glad I walked up that path, and I just happened to spot this through all the thick brush out there, and it's like, is this it? But it's not, but it's a bonus find for us, and I'll take it. So we walked up from the cellar of the spring house that was right down there, because we saw this coming up, and this piqued our interest. But this is out here in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, this is very peculiar what this is, and it even has a latch on the door there that opens. But what this could be used for, I don't know. And if it's a hunting blind, well, that's definitely a no-no, because there is no hunting on this preserve at all. But up behind RJ, we got to watch, because there are, up in the woods there, we can see posted signs up there, no trespassing. So that part up there we're not going to venture up to, because there are, I think, about maybe 5, maybe 6 residences, private residences on this mountain. But we're going to walk around here and investigate a little bit further, and go over here and check this flat area out and see if there's any clues over there as to what that could be. Alright, the mystery is solved with what that other square box was up there in the woods. Because I'll zoom in for you here, and right down there, that's a hunting blind down there, and then the trail is, one of the loops to the trail is right here. So why there are hunting blinds on here, I'm not sure, because there is not supposed to be any hunting on this preserve whatsoever. But that is definitely a hunting blind down there, and it's almost the same style as the one that was over there. So that mystery is solved. Alright, so RJ's back there checking something out, but I came over here, and as we're walking up, I wanted to get over to Y102's transmitter site to see about finding the hotel, the Neversink Mountain Hotel, and yeah, right there's their transmitter, their tower in front of us, so we're not too far away. It's actually going to be quicker for us to hike up there to it than what it is for us to walk back down in the parking lot and drive all the way through Mount Penn Burrow and everything to get up there and walk back up on that side of the mountain. But this is the location of Centennial Springs Hotel, hence the springs here. So there is another cellar around here somewhere that we're going to try and locate. But all right, so we're still in search of, he's got it. Okay, RJ's got it. But this is just thicker than heck in here. And I thought it was down in here, because I saw this here. This looks like a hand dug well. But we walked down in that thick mess, and it wasn't down in there. So RJ came back out here, and he says he's got eyes on it now. So this will be the big one that we have to climb into. Thicker than heck stuff climbing over there, and there is a trail up top here, which we probably should have taken. But there's plenty of remains right here. Over there's an old telephone pole cut off. There's stuff down in there, but that is what I'm in search of. So I did have to go back and look at some pictures and figure out exactly where this was, because I did not have an exact location for this. But now that I saw the pictures, I remembered that other one we were at was documented before. I just didn't remember seeing it. But this is the one that I remember seeing with, there's supposed to be hooks hanging from the ceiling in here. So, but this here would have been the base of the hotel here somewhere. And again, whatever pictures I find, if I can find any, is going to be in the video here. But so I am going to climb up there with RJ, and we are going to go inside and see what's in there. But this is definitely something that you want to come to in the winter months, because summer months you will never find this, and I don't want to deal with some slithery critters that are probably lurking around here during the summertime either. So down here you can see where my finger's pointing, there's like a circular area here where there would have been another pond, and there's a big concrete wall right there that comes over to here, and I can hear water running there, so there is a spring down there, but I don't think I can get down here to it. Maybe I can. We can walk. See if we can walk down here and get through some of this thick stuff. Yeah, that's where the water is running, right over in there. So this could have been like a little pond area or something, but yeah, this is all lined here with red brick along the side here. So this may have been some kind of fountain at one time, maybe for the hotel. I'm not quite sure, but definitely pretty cool to see. But I still going to get inside of that cellar, which is right there. So you can definitely tell that that was a foundation of something. Alright, I am going to switch to the phone to go inside here because it's going to be better for lighting. But there you can see there's some brick right there. Another wall formation there. And I did see something on the side over here too. If I can get down here to it. That right there, that's some kind of, I don't know if it's an anchor system, to hold the wall up or something like that, or what that is, or used to tie something off at one time. But dig my trusty light out here. And we'll go inside and check this out. This is definitely the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, I think this is the Android.
Yep. There's the hooks. There's the hooks hanging. So I'm at the opening and RJ's down there, so you can see definitely how big this is. Some say, I know I read somewhere that some people had said this might have been a meat locker with the hooks hanging in here. But this is definitely huge. But this thing is massive. can see the opening we came in right there. And I'm sure you can hear the echo that's in here. This is just massive.
I could fit a lot of tractors in here. And my truck. It's all stone, it's like a concrete kind of line, which is why it was falling off over time. But, and then also the collapse of the top of the peak up there.
Biggest cellar I've ever been in.
I've been bigger.
Very cool. So far today, this has been a very successful adventure, or exploring, however you want to call it. So RJ just pointed out, and I didn't see them when I came in, but there's the hinges that were on the door, and they might have tried to backfill this in at one time, but over there you can see the hinges going through the stonework there to the outside. So this definitely had double doors on it. May have double doors, I should say.
It looks like it.
You would think, seeing the hinges on either side here, that it would have been double doors. All right, so RJ is still inside yet, exploring that the wine cellar that's there. But here is the path, and this was part of the railroad, part of the railroad bed that wrapped around here and went up to the hotel, which was somewhere in this area. Okay, so I looked at the time here, and to get around the mountain and all the way up top there to the transmitter site, we are not going to have enough time here before nightfall to go up there and explore that and make it back down here to our vehicles. And it's starting to sleet while we're here, which I can deal with sleet just as long as it's not rain. But we're going to go down, back down towards the vehicles, try to go out the one trail there out to where the overlooks are, and try to get some pictures from the overlooks out there. You can definitely tell by the contour here that this is definitely an old railroad or trolley bed, but we're going to be running into stuff down that way, so we're going to bushwhack it, which ain't going to be that bad, but head down this way and get down to the bottom again. So after we found the wine cellar and the remains of the hotel up there, this area down here, no doubt in my mind now, was the area of the Glen Hotel. Like I said, the exact location of it, well, we're not sure of, but it was definitely down in this area here somewhere. Making our way back down the path here towards where the vehicles are, this is what it was referenced to earlier when we were talking about 3 bridges. So this is what is called the log bridge, crossing over this little creek here. And then there's another one down here that's close to one of the trails that we're going to take to go out and around the side of the mountain again and try and get some good pictures from the lookouts. And then here are the other 2 bridges which you saw when we first came up, but we are going to bang a right here and venture out this trail, and this will take us out to the overlooks. There's another look at those rock formations over there and up there, and right over through the trees there is the bridge abutment again, which would have came over and lined up in here somewhere. Because this is where the path continues on, and this would have been the rail bed. So we're walking out the path here, but you can definitely see right here at this spot that this was a cutout for a railroad, even though looks like it gets narrower out through there. But you got to remember too, this stuff was here over 120 years ago, so nature with eroding and everything else, you know, and hillside encroached in on what was the rail bed here. So right down there, which I'll zoom in for you and you can see it, right there is that stone formation that we saw when we were down at the pavilion, which was just over in this area. So we're above that now, but whatever that formation is there, it looks like it's a round formation, or at least partially round. I don't know what that could have been at one time, if that had something to do with the railroad here, or the trolley line, because we're still on the bike path here, which is the bed. So again, if anybody has any information that watches the video, you can leave it in the comments. And even though we're up here hiking around, always got time to catch a train. Although it's not going to be the greatest video, but we hear the rumble, and right down there's the tracks. It's an intermodal. Don't know the train number or anything like that, but yeah. So we finally caught a train. We've been up here hiking all day and finally managed to catch a train. And also, when I was up here before the train came, I happened to turn around, and if anybody doubts that this once was a railroad, right there's a piece of rail that is embedded in the ground, and you are not getting that out. But that is definitely a light rail that would have been used for a trolley line. The only part that's bad about it, they don't have it marked that good. If you come down here with a bike at the right spot, you'll hit that, or walking around, you'll trip over it. There's another interesting rock formation there, and RJ went up there and checked it and said it looked like maybe there was a spring there at some time, and a path going up there for people to get water along here maybe. But out here is one of the other overlooks. Hopefully you can get some good pictures from here. Alright, so we came out here to this other overlook, and I'm saving the best view for last. That is just gorgeous. So I switched to the phone because it's getting a little breezy out here, and this phone holds up a little bit better with the wind than the Osmo Action 3. But just look at that view. That is beautiful. Definitely a good spot to rail fan too, because right there's the tracks. So I'll see if I can walk down here a little bit to the cliff that's here. And then I explained in RJ's video, which I'll zoom in on. Right over here, this is where Clapperthal Tower used to be, which was the control point for the lines coming in and out of the rail yard in Reading. So the rail yard that's over there at the top of my finger, that's the line that comes in and out of the city, which was a double track at one time, now single track. And then this line right here, which the camera's focusing in on my finger, but right there is the line that goes out around the power plant there and goes out to Wyomissing Junction, where it can either head up to Macungie or head west out to Lebanon and Harrisburg, which that was known as Clapperthal Junction at one time. Now it's known as CP Titus. And then the other part in the back there where the turkey path is, that's where CP Kumru would be. Control point. CP stands for control point, in case anybody was wondering. RJ just asked me. But this is just a beautiful view up here. Yeah, so if you don't like heights or anything, don't look at this part of the video. But yeah, we are literally on the ledge here of the mountain, and it is a long way down. So I knew this was here, and I totally forgot about it until we decided to walk out from the overlook there and come out along the trail here a little bit yet, so while we got some daylight. But I'll zoom in for it. That is a wrecked car down there, or the remains of it.
That ain't a car, that's a frame and a bumper. That's it.
Frame and a bumper right there. Which, what were you guessing it might have been, RJ?
By the shape of the bumper, it looks to be 60s, 70s GM, but I can't determine.
So RJ's thinking 60s or 70s GM just by the curve of the bumper, but he's not 100% sure. He was going to attempt to try and get down there from it, but yeah, this is, you see how he's trying to get back up here. How it got there, we don't know. But I'm definitely not climbing down there to try and find out. But some of the strangest things you find out here. So yeah, RJ's down there, and where we were at before was below him with the wrecked car and everything, and he took off, and I saw him come up around the back here, so I decided to follow him, but I'm cursing him out now getting up to the top here. But the only thing, trees are blocking the view. It's still a good view here and everything, but the better views down at the lower overlook. Than this is called the upper overlook. The only thing you can see real good here is the top of the mountain and the high tension lines that they just redid in the last month and a half, 2 months over there. Tore the old ones out and put new ones, new towers up and new lines and everything.
You also see the line, the trail.
Oh yeah, way out there where my finger is, you can see the trail where the railroad ran at one time. Just about straight out there in that little opening there, we can see it. But we are not going to get to the whole thing today. Unfortunately, we're running out of daylight, but I am definitely coming back up here, and we'll be exploring this mountain for the third time.
I'm getting hungry.
And RJ's getting hungry, as always. Okay, well, hopefully you enjoyed that video there of us exploring the Neversink Mountain Preserve up here. Again, I didn't get to everything I wanted to today. Because of obviously daylight and everything. With it getting daylight, darker here earlier in the winter, we couldn't go as far as we want to. So I will be coming back up here in the future. Not sure when, but it will definitely be before everything starts growing again, so I can look around and find the hotels that I want up there on the other part of the mountain by Y102's transmitter site and everything up there. So this was a great day. Found a lot of stuff, and some stuff I wasn't expecting to find and everything, but I am definitely sore from the climbing and everything. So, and again, my thanks to that guy there for coming along and everything. Hopefully he enjoyed himself. So I will be back up here again for the third time exploring this mountain up here sometime in the future. So if you did like the video, please give it the thumbs up. Also, if you're new to the channel and just found it, consider hitting that subscribe button down there. And also you can ring the bell down there and be notified when I upload new content to YouTube. So, and again, thank you to all the subscribers, not only on here, but all the other social media platforms out there, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, it's have a ball and do it all. We'll see you soon.